And a Wisconsin judge goes on trial today for allegedly helping an illegal immigrant avoid arrest in her courtroom. Milwaukee County Circuit Judge Hannah Dugan faces federal charges. She's accused of concealing a person from arrest and obstructing federal proceedings. The judge has pleaded not guilty and has been suspended from her job while the trial unfolds. The case stems from an April incident in which ICE agents attempted to arrest illegal immigrant Eduardo Flores Ruiz after a domestic violence hearing. Prosecutors say Dugan diverted the agents and then escorted Flores Ruiz and his attorney through a non-public exit, delaying his arrest. Dugan's lawyers argue she followed courthouse policy and acted in good faith.
It's funny that they would think that she was acting in good faith, or that she claims that she was acting in good faith. What I don't understand, in all honesty, is how do you think aiding and abetting a criminal from getting away is acting in good faith? I tell you, these people on the left, okay, the way they conduct themselves, especially these judges, they scream so loud about that certain people are not above the law, but yet they go and they act above the law. But not this time, okay? This time, this judge, she's basically going to get sentenced now. And that's a good thing. That's a very good thing. And I hope that it's a warning to all these leftist judges out there that, you know what, you either stop what you're doing and really pay attention to what the law says and how to conduct yourselves to keep people safe, or just do what you want to do and be ready to get arrested and go to prison. And in my opinion, that's more of what we need in this country. But we're going to get into it real quick. Here we go. Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. This quick video that I'm putting together tonight is going to be about two things. First, we're going to talk about this judge, Hannah Dugan from Wisconsin. If anybody remembers or doesn't remember or know, she was a judge that basically tried to help an illegal immigrant that had a court date escape from ICE, and help them get away through a side door or a back door in the judge's chambers, in the courtroom chambers. And basically ICE had to go and chase this man down outside in the street. And she thought that what she was doing was the right thing to do. And she knows very well that it wasn't the right thing to do. She just did it because, just like all these other bleeding heart liberals that keep screaming, saying that Trump is racist and what he's doing by picking up illegal immigrant criminals is against the law, is against democracy, and she basically lost her job, and now she will be going to prison, because come June 3rd, they're going to sentence her, okay? And rightly so. I've said it many a times, and even before I started my channel, that I always wondered why judges can't be held to the same standard as just regular civilians whenever they break the law or commit a crime. And I hope that this is the start of something new, where judges are either going to start doing their job right, stop being so biased, okay, and uphold the law. And especially all these judges on the left, all these judges that were appointed by Obama and by Biden, that are out there basically helping illegals break the law. It's bad enough they came into the country illegally, but to help them to escape being arrested for crimes that they committed, it needs to stop. It truly needs to stop. And a lot of people, are saying that, well, it's not like they raped or they murdered somebody. First of all, they came into the country illegally. Second of all, if they get caught in a DUI, okay, they need to be basically run through the system the same way any other American driving under the influence gets run through the system. And another thing I can't understand is, how is it that in supposedly sanctuary cities, okay, supposedly like they're protected for some odd reason. I can never understand that. Why are illegal immigrants protected in sanctuary cities and states after they break the law? I just don't understand it. Never mind the homegrown criminals that we have in America as it is being let loose. Okay, I've done plenty of videos on that. But it's like, you know, where is it that in sanctuary cities that it was meant that, you know what, if people come here illegally, they can find sanctuary, and if they break the law, is no big deal. We're going to still let them out. And this is a time in our country where there's so much crime being committed. And yes, to all you lefties, yes, a lot of illegal immigrants that have been let into this country, especially in the past 4 or 5 years when Biden took over, okay, have been committing crimes. Whether you people want to believe it or not, it's all over mainstream media, local media, social media. You can't hide the truth. There are rapists and murderers, drug dealers, pimps, gang members from other countries in here doing their dirt, whether you want to believe it or not. Okay, that's just the bottom line. And I, for one, am happy that this judge, this woman, is finally going to be on the other side of the law. Okay, and this is where more judges have to basically go down that same road. If you're a crooked judge and you're breaking the law, you should be put in prison, just like any other civilian. Just like what's going on in Florida with DeSantis wanting that one judge to be impeached because basically she's nothing but a derelict, putting regular civilians in harm's way. And I honestly, I pray that, you know what, more and more judges, district attorneys, what have you, they come up with all these plea deals to let out all these criminals, whether they're American or not, back out into the street or give them soft sentences. I hope they start getting in trouble. And I hope they all start getting arrested and being put in prison so like that they understand. You think by going to prison that that's going to destroy your life, but yet you're forgetting about the the victims, okay, their lives that have been destroyed. I mean, you make it seem in many cases as if they deserved it or they just don't deserve any justice. Well, guess what? Justice is being served, and this judge, Hannah Dugan from Wisconsin, she's going to be sentenced, and rightly so. But I don't want to drag this on too long. Like I said, it's going to be a quick video. I'm just going to play this news clip, but also I hope you stick with me after the news clip. I want to show you guys something because I truly feel, and I found some proof, and you guys tell me that I truly feel that my channel is somewhat being shadow banned. Okay? And just stick with me. I'll show you what I got. You let me know what you think in the comments, if I'm overthinking it or what. But it's just something that's been lingering. I've talked about it before, and now as of late it just seems like it's getting worse on my channel to get views and impressions. But I'm going to show you some proof that I looked up. But besides that, let's get to this video clip so you guys can see what's going on. Here we go.
Former Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan's effort to overturn her guilty verdict was rejected this week. Now her case moves to the sentencing phase. Dugan was found guilty in December of obstructing federal immigration agents at the Milwaukee County Courthouse last year, but not guilty of concealing an undocumented immigrant. Let's talk about what's next with Milwaukee Journal Sentinel investigative reporter John Dietrich, who has covered federal courts and trials extensively. John, thanks for joining us. We were both in the courtroom when Hannah Dugan was found guilty on that felony charge. That was nearly 4 months ago. She resigned shortly after that verdict. So, John, take us inside the sentencing process. Does Dugan face prison time?
Well, so we're looking at a sentencing in June, and what happens now is there's a pre-sentence investigation that's underway that looks into background of the judge and as a defendant. We're also going to see letters coming in and memos from both sides. Dugan does face 5 years in prison. It's very unlikely that she'll get prison time. This is all working off of federal sentencing guidelines. That's a number system, and it's very unlikely in a non-violent felony like this one, white collar as it's called, with a defendant who has zero criminal history, that she would face.
Well, you know what? In all honesty, that needs to change. And like I said, I hope they give her the 5 years, because this whole thing about white collar crimes or blue collar crimes or whatever the case is, listen, she knows she did wrong. Okay? And this thing about, oh, that, you know what, it wasn't like anybody got hurt. It's not the fact that anybody got hurt. The person that she let out was going to court for him, like I said, coming into the country legally and breaking the law. Regardless if it was a DUI, whatever the case was, to come out and say, well, we doubt that she's going to wind up, doing any prison time. No, she needs to do prison time. She needs to understand what it is this time to be on the other side of the law, because I tell you what, okay? Now, I don't know this woman's history when it comes to her sentencing people, but there's one thing I do know. Being born and raised in a blue state, a blue city like New York, okay? More times than none, these liberal judges, they love to make an example of people, especially when it's their first time ever being arrested. And I know firsthand, and I can tell you stories from here to 10 years from now about people back home on their first offense being given the strictest penalties. And yet, you have all these judges, all these lawyers, all these district attorneys that come out and say, no, we're here for the people. No, you're not. You know for a fact that the prison system is a moneymaker. There are judges that love to use first-time offenders as an example and give them the max. Okay? I mean, I've heard horror stories from friends and family that, just being there with them is just like, wow, I can't believe they did that to you like that. Meanwhile, you have repeat offenders. Again, let's just take New York, a blue city, letting out all these people that are committing crimes that have been arrested 20, 30, 40, 50 times, and yet they give them a slap on the wrist. They keep letting them go until they wind up committing that crime that winds up shedding blood. So no, this thing about her, that she might get 5 years, but we doubt that she's going to do any prison time. No, she should do prison time. And as a judge, she should do the harshest of prison time. She should get the max. She should get probably more than the max. You know why? Because as a judge, she should know better. And she knows that what she did was wrong.
Time. It's also important to note that Judge Edelman, who's the judge in this case, typically sentences below the guidelines.
All right, so you talked about what we...
See, there you go. You heard what he said. The judge that's involved in this case, he likes to sentence below the guidelines. You see what I'm saying? We can't have judges like that. Okay? You can't just pick and choose and wind up giving carte blanche to the people that you know that are knowingly committing crimes because they want to, as opposed to somebody that wind up getting caught in a situation and it's like, well, I didn't mean to do that. I'm not a criminal. It was just bad circumstances or whatever the case is. In case, I hope you guys are with me on what I'm trying to say. And then throwing the book at them, as opposed to people that know that they've done premeditated crimes. Like this woman, she knows what she did. She even set it up so it was premeditated. She made it hard for the ICE agents to get in. She wind up shutting everything down, wind up passing the word so like that they can get this guy out into the street so like that he can get away. What if he would have gotten away and committed a harsher crime? Then what? Unbelievable.
Might see from the government, the prosecution. We watched people like former Milwaukee Mayor Tom Barrett testify in favor of Dugan's character and integrity that is, during the trial. What will we see and hear from her defense team during sentencing?
Well, it'll be really interesting because I think they're kind of walking a tightrope here a little bit. You will see a lot of what we saw with Tom Barrett's testimony. It won't be testimony, but probably in the form of letters and comments from the judge herself. She's likely to speak, but they're going to be talking about her character, things of that nature, her history as a judge prior to being a judge, all the things that she did as a lawyer before that. I suspect they'll talk much less about the crime. Sometimes in this case, a defendant will say, I'm contrite for doing this, apologetic, and so forth. I suspect it'll be different in this case because of the appeal.
And John, your reporting says this case is headed to the Federal Court of Appeals. That could be a long process. Does that have any impact on sentencing? And what happens if she is given prison time?
Well, it won't have much of an impact on sentencing. Sentencing has to happen first before this case can go to the Seventh Circuit. If she does get, and again, very unlikely that she gets prison time, but the defense could ask to stay that prison time until the appeal is handled. They're going to be dealing with complex issues, and as you said, it's likely to be a long process. They're dealing with immunity and ICE. Can they actually do what they did in courtrooms? Things of that nature. And again, it's important to remember this is the first case of its kind to go to trial and result in a conviction. So it's blazing a trail here.
So on one sense,
and that's another problem. Saying this is the first case of its kind. Yeah, you know why? Because everybody else before this was lax. How many judges have let out illegal immigrants time and time and time again? How many judges have let out regular American-born criminals time and time again? Okay. And this whole thing about it being dragged out for what? It should be an open and shut case. Forget about her past. Forget about what she did as a lawyer. Forget about what she did as a judge. We don't want to hear about character. No, none of that. None of that BS. None of that bullshit. It's about what she did that day. Okay, plain and simple. Plain and simple. A lot, but more times than none, that's the way judges look at a person whenever they commit a crime the first time. They don't want to hear about character witnesses and how good this person was. There are judges out there that are just out for blood. They don't care. To them, it's all a sob story. Because they'll come out and say, well, you know what? Well, you had a chance to do this, but you decided to do this. And you had a chance to do that, but you decided to do this. Well, you know what? She had a chance to do the right thing, but she decided that day to break the law and help an illegal immigrant criminal try to escape and evade being arrested and being deported.
the sentencing will bring to an end what we have seen so far around the trial, but the case will still live on as it makes its way potentially through the Court of Appeals, right?
That's right, in the Seventh Circuit, and that could be important for other cases. Some of the legal experts that we've talked to said that this case could send a message to other judges, and that's the defense has been very keen to make it clear that they think these charges were illegal. They should not have been filed. That she was immune from this kind of prosecution. So we can expect a robust appeal coming in the months ahead.
All right, John Dietrich.
You see, and there you go. That whole thing about having immunity or whatever the case is like, that should not be like that. All you're basically doing is telling judges, and it doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. How many times do we hear from people on the left that these right-leaning judges, they let this one go because they're racist or whatever the case is, and they're always locking up this one, and they always taking the law into their own hands, and no one's above the law. Well, stand by your words. No one's above the law. Now you got somebody on your side of the aisle that's doing the same thing. I mean, this is so damn hypocritical for them to come, for this guy to come out and say the things he's saying. Like I said, she's going for sentencing in June. I hope, in all honesty, that she winds up going to prison. And this is not me being a bad person. It's just that, no, you're supposed to uphold the law. Okay, you're a judge. You should know better. You should not be able to do this and get away with it, because the precedence is going to set. It's going to mean that regardless of what happens for the next 4 years, or even if when we take the White House back in 2028 and for the next 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to have judges like this basically running things in blue cities and blue states that are always going to put innocent people, their lives at risk. That's the bottom line. Okay? The judge in Florida needs to be put in prison. She needs to be impeached and put in prison. This judge needs to be impeached and put in prison. And they need to start cracking down on all these crooked leftist judges. And even those crooked judges on the right. I'm not going to be naive about this. Okay? But it has to stop. It's supposed to be equal justice under the law. Lady Justice is supposed to be blind. But it seems like, no, she's not blind. Because all they got to do is talk, point at who you know. Not about what you did, is about who you know. And that should not be the case. That should not be the case. But anyway, that's what I got for you on this story. Bear with me another couple of minutes. I want to show you guys something that I came across, and why I think that my channel is being shadow banned. Here we go. Okay, so about a week or two ago, I was coming across some videos on YouTube, and there was this one YouTube guru that put out a video basically trying to help people wonder what's going on with their channel, that they're not getting impressions and stuff like that. So I started listening, and there's something that he said okay, that caught my attention. I mean, I've done so much research trying to get this channel going and trying to get as many views and impressions as I can, but he says something that really got my attention. Okay, so I decided to do some research, and I decided to ask AI certain questions. Now, in the video that the YouTube content creator put out, he says one way that you can find out if your channel is being shadow banned, your content is being shadow banned, is that you need to go back and check out your last 20 videos. Okay, and supposedly by right, and this guy, he's got a few channels and he's got plenty of subscribers. I mean, he does this, does this for a living, and he's very successful. And he said that on your last 20 videos, or in any given span of 20 videos, you should have no less than 100,000 impressions, meaning where your videos, out of all your 20 videos combined, they should have been pushed out, okay, 100,000 times. Okay, so I decided to go on AI, and I started asking questions, and I basically, this is the question I asked. I said, I was just checking a video by a guru who says to check my analytics for the past 20 videos to see if I have 100,000 impressions. So I checked. Now, mind you, I didn't check my last 20 videos when I was watching his video. I went back and checked my last 30 videos. Okay. So I'm explaining that so I checked my last 30 videos, and in total I have a little over 15,000 impressions. Not 100,000, 15,000. Okay, so I proceeded to tell AI. In his video, he says, if I don't have 100,000 videos from my last 20 videos, basically YouTube is shadow banning me. So it's safe to say that 15,000 on my last 30 videos proves my channel is shadow banned. Okay. AI came out and said, now I had to record this, came out and said, the bold truth, 15,000 impressions across your last 30 videos is extremely low and does match the pattern of a visibility restricted channel. But the 100,000 impressions rule is not real. So I said, okay, I let him explain some more. And it says, no credible YouTube source says 100,000 impressions equals not shadow banned. Okay. That guru rule is not supported by any verified YouTube documentation or reputable analysis. Now, here's the thing. There are certain channels that promote YouTube on YouTube. Okay? They basically tell content creators how to get impressions, how to build your channel. And I'm talking about from vidIQ to other, certain content creators to help creators keep building up their content, keep building up their channels. Okay, so just from this one guru, I didn't get that kind of information from another guru that does a lot, in my opinion, in favor of YouTube. They came out basically with the same thing. Once you get 100 videos, 200 videos, you should have anywhere between 10 and 15,000 subscribers. I am pushing nearly 600 videos on my channel since I started. As a matter of fact, July 11th will be 3 years that I'm at this. Okay? And it doesn't matter what kind of content a creator puts out. If you're on the grind and you're doing all this editing and you're putting out whatever the information is, your channel should be pushed out. One reason why I feel that, I'm not being treated fairly, and I'm putting out this video, okay, and it's for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is for me to be proven wrong. Okay, if I'm wrong, I want to see YouTube push out my videos. Prove to me that I'm wrong. Okay, prove to me that I'm wrong. Push out my videos more than 300-400 times. Push them out 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 times. And the reason why I say that is because supposedly come this year, okay, in 2026, that I heard from someone else that does content on YouTube in favor of YouTube, that for new content creators, depending on the niche, they are going to push out their videos up to, I believe they said up to 500,000 times in order to push out their content. And it's only going to be specific for people that put out content for a certain niche. They didn't specify which niche, but my thing is this. I have been back and forth with YouTube asking every time a video is doing really well, it has high retention, high analytics and all that, you know, why didn't you push out my video this much? Why didn't you push it out that much? And there's always the same excuse, okay, or excuses. Well, we don't push it out to all your subscribers because not all of them have their notifications on, or we pick, or the algorithm chooses which one of your subscribers would be interested, and it just goes on. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If people have subscribed to my channel, that means that they're interested. Push it out to them, and push it out to other new people. You know, I just find it baffling that even before I log in and I go on YouTube, on the main page, and I'm not even logged in yet, I mean, they are sending me videos with content that I'm not even interested in, and they're just pushing it and pushing it. And I look at a lot of these content creators that have 300 subscribers, maybe 1,000, and yet they have a video that has 50,000 views, 20,000 views, 100,000 views, and I'm like, what makes their content any better than mine? You know what I mean? So I let AI continue. I'm playing the video. Okay, let me see if I can speed it up just a little bit so like that we don't waste any time. And it says, well, he came out and said about the no credible YouTube source says 100,000 impressions equals not shadow banned, right? So right here where it says your numbers do match documented shadow ban like suppression. According to multiple expert analysis, let me go back a little bit, sorry, I'm speeding up. Let me pause it. It says a channel that used to get normal reach but now gets 20 to 40 views per upload with very low impressions, even with watch time, even when watch time is strong, okay, is showing classic signs of algorithmic visibility restrictions. Okay, and he says your situation, 30 views, getting 15,000 impressions total. Okay, it says that's 500 impressions per video average, and many of your videos get under 200 impressions, which is true. I've shown this before. A lot of my videos get less than 200 impressions, and it's like, but if I got over 2,300 subscribers, and then when I look at my analytics, it's like, well, all right, you sent out 150 notifications to my subscribers. Why didn't you send it out to the X amount, the millions of people that are watching YouTube, the millions of right-leaning people that watch right-leaning content creation? Why don't you send it to them? Why is it, okay, that you have some left-leaning hack start a YouTube channel and all of a sudden their channel explodes? It's like you're pushing out their content hundreds of thousands of times. That's why their channels explode. But when it comes to people like me, it's like you only want a certain amount of people to see my content, and it's like, you know, this is, I have to look at this as in the business aspect, because you know what, to put in so much time in this is to grow something. This is to grow into something bigger, and of course there's money involved. This is not easy. But giving me all these lies, saying that, well, you know what, maybe there aren't that many people that are interested. I've done my research. And on YouTube alone, every single day, and it took me a little bit of time, a couple of hours to break down the numbers. At any given time in America alone, there are millions of people that are right-leaning, that watch right-leaning content. You mean to tell me, knowing very well that I'm right-leaning, that you cannot push out my channel to those people? Give me a break. But this part right here is what got me. So unless I'm overthinking this, I don't know what to say. But right here, number 3 of what AI said. It said Bitdefender's analysis confirms your symptoms match suppression. Bitdefenders is a company that basically looks for stuff like this on the internet, okay, on social media, to find out, you know, what constitutes being shadow banned, what constitutes you not being noticed, what, you know, they do all this little in-depth, you know, research. And by him saying Bitdefenders analysis confirms your symptoms match suppression, Bitdefenders research, which is one of the most respected breakdowns, says shadow ban like suppression, sharp drops in impressions, search rankings, and recommendations. It often happens without strikes. It's algorithmic, not manual. Okay? Which means that instead of saying, you know what, okay, this guy's been at it, he's got almost 600 videos, where a lot of YouTube gurus say as much as 200 videos should get you X amount of subscribers. I mean, even a year and a half ago, when we did the live stream, I did the live stream that I was on Lou Valentino's live stream. Okay, much thanks to him, because he wind up, you know, helping me get many subscribers within a couple, you know, that first night, and then it went on for the rest of the weekend. Even he admitted, when he looked at my channel, he looked at my videos, he said, "You've been putting in a lot of work. You have a lot of videos." And I'm like, yeah. You know? And Lou Valentino, you know, he's a big content creator. And it's like, you know, I just find it totally unfair. I mean, it's getting to the point that, I mean, I'm pushing my videos on X, I'm pushing my videos on Truth Social, I'm pushing my videos on Rumble. And Rumble is not a big platform, but I do like Rumble. And it's like, I put videos on there and I'm getting, what, 100 views, 80 views, 90 views, whatever the case is. And people say, well, that's still not a lot. Yeah, but when you look at the context of me putting content on YouTube that has hundreds of millions of viewers worldwide, subscribers, it makes a big difference, considering the fact that, why is it that I'm getting more views on Rumble than on YouTube? And listen, I love doing all my content. I love being on YouTube. I'm not trying to get banned, but to tell you the truth, it's like, show me that none of this is true. Okay? Show me that none of this is true. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go real time before I end this video. I hope you guys are still with me. Let's just shut this down right here. Sorry. Okay, I'm gonna go to my channel. Okay, my YouTube studio channel. Okay, so you guys can see the last video that I put out. Okay, you see all this green, and I've said it before. Right here, I'm in the green. It says, great news, people on YouTube are choosing to watch this video more often than usual. I put this video out, 3 days ago. But when I go to the analytics, okay, and I go to the impressions, what's it say here? It's only been pushed out 324 times. So if it's doing so good, why are you pushing it out only 324 times? And I only got how many views? 31 views. But yet, when I go back to my channel, okay, I've got 2,300 subscribers. So what are we talking about here? I mean, in all honesty, what are we talking about here? Okay, let's take another video. Okay, this video I put out April 2nd. I got 24 views. I barely got any watch time on it. Okay, and what did I get? 320 views. Again. Meanwhile, I got 2,300 subscribers, and my subscriber count has dropped. I was nearly up to 2,400 subscribers, but I get a lot of emails and I get messages on the side of people telling me that they don't get notifications, they think that I'm not doing any content, they lose interest, and they wind up unsubscribing. So if I'm losing subscribers, how am I supposed to gain new subscribers if you're not pushing out my content? You know what I'm saying? But yet YouTube pushes on me, leftist content creators, knowing very well that's not how I roll. But I'll always get on my recommendation feed, watch Midas Touch, watch this. I want nothing to do with these leftist content creators. If I do, it's basically to criticize them. It's not to get anything good from them, because they don't put out any good content. All their content is a bunch of lies. Okay? So I just wanted to put this out for you guys, just so you, and I hope you watch the whole thing, just so you guys know. Listen, I'm not here asking for money, nothing like that. What I'm asking for is that if you're going to watch my content, please watch it straight through, okay? If you find it interesting, subscribe to the channel, pass the videos around, pass the channel around, okay? Give it a thumbs up, leave messages, just so like that, you know what? If the algorithm is not going to push my impressions, if I can get all of you out there to pass my videos around, okay, to family and friends where they can go and maybe check out 10-20 minutes of the video, half of the video. If you like it, watch the whole thing. Okay, help this channel grow. I mean, like, you know, this is something that I wish I could do full time. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, there's a lot to do. I mean, there's so much information out there. There's so many videos and topics that I want to cover. But I'll be honest with you, you know, feeling, it's not about feeling, it's not about being distracted. I mean, I have a job and all that, you know, and I do what I got to do, but I feel disheartened many a time. So I just pull back for a few days, but then I start thinking, you know what, I got to keep pushing. But I've pushed so hard, and it's like the channel's not growing and YouTube is not pushing out my content, but yet I keep getting green check marks, you know, saying if it's good enough, I'll just do one more. The last one that I did, okay, the one with DeSantis, I gained a subscriber. I got 67 views. Okay, they pushed this one out 732 times. But when you go to my overall of all my videos, that one with Governor DeSantis is #1. So if it's #1, you couldn't push it out 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 20,000 times? The same thing. It was all green across the board. All green across the board. And you're telling me that you couldn't push it out? I mean, I have to admit, and this is what I'm saying, I don't want to get banned from YouTube, nothing like that, but, you know, the truth is the truth. You know, freedom of speech. Prove to me that what AI is telling me is wrong, what Bitdefender and all that, what they're saying is wrong. Prove to me, and not only here on YouTube, but also on, and I'm not, this is not me knocking Rumble. Okay? But prove to me that, you know what, that's not the case. That you can push out my content to hundreds of thousands of people. Because I'll be honest with you, there's content that's pushed on me, excuse me, and like I said before, it is total garbage. I mean, total garbage. People fighting, people beating each other up, people getting murdered, people getting blown up. A lot of it's all uncensored. It's like, why would you send that to me? It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I hope you watch the whole thing. I mean, I just wanted to put this out there. I know I said it was going to be a short video. To me, it's a little short, but you know me, I put out long content, but I put it out because I like to cover a lot of things and try to put out as many facts as I can. So it is what it is, and I hope you guys are still with me, and you guys pass it along and help the channel grow. So remember, people, stay vigilant, keep praying for each other, keep praying for the women and the children, pray for this country, pray for your enemies, pray for President Trump, and don't forget to pray for all the missing children that they brought across the border. Peace.